In the short term, everyone is down right now. And I mean that truthfully. We talked to economic development out in Cambridge, when we talked to the economic development in Berlin. Everyone's kind of seeing what we are. This year, for whatever reason, our retail's down by between a quarter and a third. So in the short term, I think that there certainly is some pessimism in the idea of, what's going on with downtown. But in the long term, I think that we certainly are optimistic. And the main reason for that is the same reason why I was so happy to land in Easton, is the infrastructure of the town. Because the truth is, there really isn't another town on the Eastern Shore that still has the commercial draw that Easton does. When we see our storefronts, if we see a business turnover, very rarely does that space stay vacant for any significant portion of time. In fact, most of the storefronts right now that are empty are in planning, or they're currently just through renovations with specific. We certainly know that things are going to have to change in not only the items that are being sold, but also the people that we're marketing to. We thrived for a long time based on our baby boomers and our weekend generation that was coming through. And I think as a county, we're starting to realize that you can't survive when you sit at between 35 and 40% retired. Just your services go down, and especially now that some of that market is realizing that maybe the expendable money just isn't there as much anymore. They're on a more fixed income now. We're seeing that hit in our downtown market. So we are starting to see some of the businesses that are moving in downtown are run by younger entrepreneurs. They're marketing to a younger audience. They're marketing to an audience that might be more willing to come in and come into a walkable downtown, as opposed to wanting to kind of park, go into a store as a destination and leave. One industry that we see success year after year, it's culinary. I mean, we look at our dining, that's kind of our sales pitch. When we go into our tourism markets, which would be Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., a little bit into New York, we really focus on dining in the arts for Easton. You're looking at a town that has 82 restaurants, 58 of them are independently owned, and over half of those are in the downtown area. So there's a lot, and most of the planning for those empty storefronts right now is additional culinary. We've got a Venetian cafe coming in the next month or two. We've heard murmurs of gelato shop, wine bar, bourbon bar, and we've got upscale Italian coming in very soon. So if you were to look at our town from above with no traffic in it, you would assume it's a pedestrian city. I mean, you look at the types of shops that are around, you look at the fact that we have multiple intersections that are busy with commerce, and yet still the focus tends to be on vehicles. It's that the town of Easton is not very walkable. I mean, for a gridded city, we haven't really focused on the safety of our pedestrians very much. We've been so focused on what we call a parking issue in town instead of making the town more pedestrian friendly.
What can we do on that front?
So
quick answers.
Yeah. So in fact, one of the grants that we just wrote yesterday was for better wayfinding signs and maps in town. If you've seen our maps downtown, they were over 10 years old, and they're being redesigned right now. But also, all of our signage in town is at vehicle height. So we don't have any signage that pushes people toward galleries or shops. We don't have any signage that really gives someone a reason to turn a corner. And that's important. And it's important for any town. When you do park in our free lots, just like any downtown, our free parking is on the outskirts. You're never going to find it right in the middle of town. But we don't have any signage that reminds people that it's only from our farthest lot, a 5 or 6 minute walk to the Avalon Theater. Then those type of signs do leave an impression, and they make a difference for our businesses if we are able to push people in the right direction, whether it's toward shopping or hospitality or restaurants. So it's to do all the signage, to redesign the signs, to install them, you're looking at, it's about $70,000, which not peanuts to you or I, but it's peanuts to, in terms of when you talk about planning for a town, it really isn't that much in the end, the end of the day. So, and we do anticipate it making a pretty big difference. The other initiative that will also help with that walkability is this mesh network that's being built. Easton's wireless mesh network is based on pulling in marketing data for tourists and visitors. So a lot of towns will build a Wi-Fi network to help their businesses, to give them, so a gallery can have wireless in their store and kind of run basic functions. But those are usually towns that it fails in. You can't offer this up to your business owners or your storefronts and still have the bandwidth for anyone to make it worthwhile to use it. So the town is looking at making a significant investment with some outside funding, of course, and working with Easton Utilities on it. And that's one of our big benefits, is that we own our fiber in Easton. So we can work with Easton Utilities, and what it'll enable us to do is, as people use it, they'll sign in via Facebook or email to utilize the network, and it'll give us a chance to have a general, it's always anonymous, but to have a general idea of some of the interests that people have when they come into town, maybe the general locations they're coming from, Northern Virginia, Philadelphia, wherever it might be. But also it gives us an idea of movement. So again, it is anonymous, but it gives us an idea of when people are on the network, or even if their phone is just pinging for it, as they move around town, we can see what stores they're stopping in front of, and then relay that back to our business owners. So we say to them, hey, we had 12 people that looked into your window on Sunday and you happen to be closed. We started a partnership with Google, actually. A lot of it is because of the fact that we have Easton Utilities in town. So they wanted to partner with a historic downtown or historic area that had the potential to be more digitally minded, I suppose. And so they partnered with us. One of the big pieces of that, of a benefit to the EBA, was a large grant from them, $140,000 year over year in advertising. And that's a huge one for us, because before, we're operating on a fairly small budget that we are forced to spend on the midshore. The Google advertising, we can focus on some of our largest cities around us. And we're also actually just received the camera yesterday. We're also piloting their store view program. And what that means is, if you've typed in Tidewater Inn on Google, one of the first things that pops up is a street view of Dover Street. This will actually allow you to click on the Tidewater Inn building and explore the inside of the lobby, go into Hunter's Tavern, check out a guest room, go into their conference centers, and do the same with all of our participating boutiques, theaters, attractions. And it's a neat thing for us to add to the new website redesign. So